Movie begin in Silver Lake, Los Angeles, where Soline Marchand, an art gallery curator and single mom to Izzy, resides. Soline is greeted by her friend Tracy, while Izzy's pals, Georgia and Zeke, arrive to accompany her to Coachella. They are set to attend a meet and greet with the famous boy band August Moon, though Izzy mentions she hasn't followed their music since 7th grade. Tracy inquires about Soline's upcoming 40th birthday celebration, but Soline has no significant plans aside from going on a camping trip alone. Soline transports Izzy and her companions to the residence of her former spouse, Daniel, who is also Izzy's father, married with his second wife, Eva. She puts efforts to maintain a cordial relationship with Daniel for the sake of their daughter. Danielle invites Soline to play pick a ball sometime, but Soline denies, harboring resentment toward both him and Eva. Upon returning home, Soline discovers that Daniel had been attempting to reach her, but was unable to do so as her phone was in airplane mode. Due to an unexpected work commitment, Daniel is no longer able to take Izzy and her friends to Coachella, leaving Soline to reluctantly step in and agree to take them instead. Upon arriving at the festival, Soline excuses herself to visit the restroom while Izzy dashes off with Georgia and Zeke. She finds herself in a trailer bathroom, unaware that it belongs to Hayes Campbell, a member of the band August Moon. Upon opening, Hayes gets confused and gets aside to let her use it. As she gets out of the bathroom, Soline thinks of him as a stalker, but he tells her that it's his trailer and he is a band member of August Moon. Initially feeling a bit awkward about using his facilities, she tries to leave, but Hayes offers her a drink to hang out. Meanwhile, his manager comes in asking him to change, so he starts changing his clothes in front of Soline. They surprisingly connect, although she feels uncomfortable leaving the trailer since she is 16 years older than him. Soline eventually reunites with Izzy and her friends as they assemble for a meet and greet, while Izzy feels slightly embarrassed after inadvertently speaking poorly of the band in front of Hayes, who handles it with grace. Hayes tries to flirt with Soline, but have to go as show is about to start. Everyone gathers to watch the band's performance. Soline discovers she is genuinely enjoying herself and start dancing along everyone else. Toward the conclusion of the show, Hayes makes a last-minute adjustment to the set list and performs a song titled Closer, implicitly dedicating it to Soline. Later, Soline commemorates her 40th birthday. At the celebration, she encounters several men closer to her age. She meets Todd, who seems to like her, and invites her for lunch, and a lot more men. However, most of them come across as peculiar or unattractive to her. At her workplace, Soline is taken up front by her manager to discover Hayes, who came here after conducting an online inquiry about her. She offers him a brief tour of the gallery, starting with ceramics, during which Hayes expresses a desire to purchase all. Then he proceeds to see other art pieces and decides to buy her whole art gallery. While Soline initially suspects he is joking, he assures her that he genuinely appreciates the art and is serious about making a purchase. Hayes shows desire to buy more art pieces, so Soline invites Hayes to an art studio owned by a friend, Sarah. In studio, they engage in a discussion about the artwork, during which Hayes shares his experience of joining the band after a rigorous audition process. He introduces his bandmates, Simon, Adrian, Rory, and Ollie, highlighting their diverse personalities. Hayes describes himself simply as the English one, and reflects he doesn't know what he'd be doing if he weren't a rock star. He clears his true intentions toward her, saying she's hot and wants to know her better, to which she replies she liked his honesty. As they are deciding where to have lunch, Soline observes fans in a nearby car snapping photos of Hayes. To afford them more privacy, she suggests they return to her house for a meal. Once there, he discovers her fridge is broken and milk has turned bad, but still drinks it to impress her. He insists on helping her get rid of rotten things from the fridge. Hayes smell tests everything while she prepares a sandwich. Hayes shares about his parents' divorce in his childhood, and Soline shares her painful discovery of Daniel's infidelity with a young lawyer, Eva, in his firm about 3 years ago, revealing that their friends had known about it for over a year, but they stayed quiet. Even though Soline offered to forget about his extramarital affair, Denial decided not to, as he was in love with Eva and wanted to move on with her, so she quietly left. She excuses as her friends calls, and Hayes heads to the living room to play the piano. Soline eventually joins him, both of them succumbing to their mutual attraction. They begin to kiss, but Soline hesitates, troubled by their significant age difference, despite Hayes recognizing her feelings for him as well. Soline asks him to go, so he intentionally leaves his watch at the table before heading out. Just before Izzy arrives home from school, Hayes asks his driver to take him back to his hotel. As her daughter goes to her room for packing, she finds his watch on the table, vibing to Izzy's favorite song in car. Soline drops her off at summer camp. Shortly after, Hayes sends her a message expressing his desire to see her again and keeps talking about their kiss. He invites her to join him in New York. She watches his song on YouTube, smiling, and stares at his watch. She ultimately decides to fly there and visit Hayes' hotel room, where they engage in an intimate act for the night. As they relax together afterward, they dance, enjoying each other's company. Hayes recounts an experience with a former manager who claimed that Hayes' favorite musician wanted to meet him, only for it to turn out that the manager's daughter simply wanted photos with him along her friends. Hayes confesses to Soline that his greatest fear is being perceived as a joke. Next morning, Hayes asks her to come in his Europe tour, but Soline denies, as she didn't bring enough undergarments with her, to which Hayes offered to run on target for her. Eventually, Soline accompanies Hayes as he tours Europe with the band and his entourage. They continue their relationship discreetly, keeping it hidden from those close to her, as Izzy remains at camp. In Paris, while dining at a restaurant, they share affectionate kisses, unaware that hidden paparazzi are capturing their moments. Later, the bandmates, along with their girlfriends, gather around the pool. Soline stare at other young girlfriends and get inferior toward her figure, so she come fully covered to join them, lying she has a history of skin cancer. While talking to them, she discovers none of them are actually any band members' girlfriends, but just their side chicks. As everyone is introducing each other, Ollie brings up Hayes dedicating a song to Soline at Coachella, noting that it's a tradition the band has whenever they meet a girl they like. He mentions that Hayes had recently done the same for an older Swedish actress, Henna Hayes. This revelation leaves Soline feeling disheartened, as she worries she is merely a fetish in Hayes' pattern of attraction. Overwhelmed, she decides to end their relationship before returning to Silver Lake. He pleads to Soline to give this relationship a chance and not run away, but she denies, stating she is ashamed of dating a younger guy. Hayes says fine, he'll arrange another woman to sleep with tonight and arrange her flight back home. She leaves his watch back at his dressing before flying business class to home, crying throughout her way. Upon her return home, she discovers that Hayes has sent her the same painting she admired at Sarah's art studio. Soline subsequently meets with Daniel and Eva after discovering that they purchased a car for Izzy in anticipation of her senior year. During their conversation, Daniel confronts Soline about the photographs of her dining with Hayes. In response, Soline accuses him of hypocrisy for expressing discontent over her new relationship. Eva also confides in Soline that she plans to leave Daniel, although her attempts to foster a friendship with Soline prove unsuccessful. Later, Hayes messages Soline, cautioning her against browsing the internet. To her dismay, she finds herself featured in beach photos with Hayes, being labeled a cougar. When she goes to pick up Izzy from camp, she is met with a flurry of reactions. Everyone and their mothers have heard the news, offering everything from congratulations to comments about how their daughters are upset. Izzy is displeased to learn that her mother had been concealing the relationship, yet she ultimately forgives Soline, stating people on internet are hypocrite to pick on her only because she is older than Hayes, and encourages her to pursue their relationship if he genuinely brings her happiness. Soline seeks out Hayes at the recording studio. She apologizes on how she treated him earlier and not accepting her love toward him as she was just afraid of the criticism. They reignite their romance. Back at Soline's home, Hayes warns everyone about the criticism that is about to come, but Izzy is accepting of their relationship. She asks her friends to refrain from posting about it on social media to minimize unwanted attention. They hang out openly in front of paparazzi and have quality family time. Unfortunately, Despite their efforts, paparazzi frequently surround their home, and Daniel comes for a visit to Celine's to drop Izzy to school. He confronts both Celine and Hayes once again about their relationship. As he bluntly shows jealousy about her new relationship, she shuts hypocrite Danielle by giving him a reality check, stating how he left her for a younger chick after years of marriage. Hayes has to go as Ollie got himself in some sort of trouble in New York. He will come back in a few days. Celine tries to get back at her normal life in art gallery, but Hayes' fangirls stand outside with harassing posters. As Celine begins to encounter hateful comments directed at her on social media, Izzy reveals that other girls at school have been asking her for pictures of Hayes' penis. Additionally, another boy whom Izzy likes has expressed an interest in pursuing a relationship with Celine. Izzy asks her to drop her at Danielle's residence, as she wants a break from this celebrity life. Celine arrives at home, but paparazzi keeps following her asking about their relationship. Upon discovering negative comments on internet, Celine finally gets overwhelmed by all of that. Upon Hayes' return from New York, he meets with Celine, where she expresses her need to end their relationship permanently due to the negative impact it is having on Izzy. Emotional Hayes states he'll leave this music industry for her, but she says then it will get worse. She asks him to please go and he leaves. Later, Hayes returns to her house and states he really loves her. They have a romantic moment in each other's arms. Hayes proposes the idea of rekindling their romance in 5 years when Izzy will have completed college. Celine, however, encourages him to seek happiness wherever he can find it. They reaffirm their love for each other and share one final kiss before he leaves his watch with her as a memento. Celine cries as everything is over. 5 years later, Celine lives her normal life away from paparazzi. Celine reaches out to Izzy through a webcam as she completes her studies in Chicago. Afterward, Celine watches an episode of The Graham Norton Show and is thrilled to see Hayes as a guest singing. She gets emotional as she hears him expressing his desire to reconnect with someone at Los Angeles. While at work, Celine is taken aback and overjoyed when Hayes makes a surprise appearance, once again fulfilling his promise.